What happens when survival becomes the only measure of success? Grafh may have the answer. Let's talk about it. What's going on, y'all? It's your man Lighthouse, and you're now tuned into another episode of Everything for Everybody. And today we'll be discussing Graph's Sometimes Money Costs Too Much album. To me, this album reads like a ledger written in lived experience, where survival, loyalty, and loss share the same line items. Raised in South Jamaica, Queens, under conditions that blurred guardianship and necessity, he frames his narrative with the precision of someone who has spent years documenting his own case. The album moves through street economies and domestic spaces without separating the two, positioning the kitchen table as both a site of provision and quiet tension. There is a deliberate sense of authorship at work here. Grafh presents himself less as a performer and more of a witness, cataloging moments that feel too specific to be embellished. The writing leans on detail rather than spectacle, small observations that accumulate into something heavier than mythology. His voice carries a measured clarity, allowing each account to settle without interruption, as though every verse is being entered into record. Across the album, collaboration functions as reinforcement rather than diversion, where guests arrive with their own testimonies, extending the scope of the narrative without shifting the center. The production remains grounded, giving the stories room to breathe while maintaining a consistent tonal weight. There's very little interest in excess here. Even the more technical performances feel contained within the broader purpose of documentation. To me, the album's emotional axis reveals itself most clearly on the song Some Wounds Never Heal, where Graph's account of Little Kenny moves beyond storytelling into something closer to remembrance. The writing here is unembellished and direct, tracing the limits of what intervention can achieve when circumstances refuse to change. The outcome is not framed as tragedy alone, but as reality that resists resolution. It lingers, unresolved, shaping everything that comes before it. This song hits on a point that I've been making about what I feel is missing from a lot of rap albums. I mean, it hasn't completely disappeared, but those somber dedication tracks, you can't live without those. You know, like, those are very necessary for like albums. You know, like, you have to give a story and paint a picture of who you are as an artist. And we want, as the listeners, we want to be able to relate to you as an artist. And, you know, everyone's lost somebody. And songs like this kind of just show you the human side of a rapper, because he's dumb nice. Right? He's going to give you the lyrics, but we also want to peel back the layers and just see what's really going on under the hood. I feel like these songs are important for hip hop and important for music in general. When you have an album, albums are supposed to be personal. You're supposed to give us something, and like, this story was very compelling. Elsewhere, moments of intimacy surface with a similar restraint. On the song Twin, affection is expressed with the same specificity as hardship, suggesting that care and damage can occupy the same space. Grafh allows contradictions to exist without sorting them, presenting a life where responsibility does not arrive cleanly and intention does not guarantee outcome. But not every track carries the same narrative weight, and there are moments where the focus drifts into familiar territory. Still, the album's core remains intact, anchored by its commitment to reflection rather than performance. Grafh doesn't seem to be concerned with dramatizing his experiences. He is concerned with presenting them as they are without filtration. And this is the first Grafh album I've listened to from top to bottom intently. When Grafh came out, he had a meteoric buzz. He was on a bunch of mixtapes. He was on the radio. He was popping, you know what I mean? But somewhere that didn't translate into superstardom. And he's brilliant as an MC and a performer. I recently seen him perform that Sister Nancy show. It was him, Styles P. He killed it. I was like, they was like coming to the stage. It was actually hosted by DJ Ralph McDaniels, the legend. And he was like coming to the stage, and it was Grafh. And I was like, Grafh? What? And then he rocked this shit. Like, I didn't know the songs, but the shits was, he has great stage performance. Like, this guy is definitely developed, and he's like a super ill performer. Earlier on, I didn't get to his music consistently, and so I sort of disregarded his music. Meaning, if I heard he had something, I would go and check for it. But I'm glad I checked this joint out, and I'm going to make sure I go back and check the other works that he's done and that I missed, because I see he's actually been working, but I don't know, I just haven't been tapped in. I've been kind of out the loop as far as Grafh is is concerned, but you know, he's dope, you know what I mean? And just to hear him actually doing consistent work and the production value of it is good, is definitely worth checking out. So by the time the record closes, the title has already answered itself. The course is not abstract, nor is it metaphorical. It is measured in absence, in memory, in a quiet recognition that what was provided could not ultimately preserve what mattered most. Grafh leaves that understanding untouched, allowing it to resonate without commentary. But that's my time, y'all. Thank you for watching another episode of Everything for Everybody. Let me know what y'all think about this Grafh album. Sometimes money does cost too much. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can stay in the loop. And also, if you're streaming this show on your favorite platform for podcasts, that's great. You can stay right there, and after you hear this review, you can actually go and listen to the album I'm talking about, which is good, baby. You see, you can listen to it right here. This is what I use. I use Spotify. Spotify right here is what I use. You know, I'm on there. This is just proof that I'm on there. You can go on Apple Music, Amazon, wherever you do your podcast thing at. You can go right there. You can listen to the show, and then you can listen to the music. You know what I'm saying? And just give me your opinion, what you feel about this. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for tuning in again, guys. I'll see you soon. Peace, and we out. Cheers.